Ben Shapiro talking about the Uvalde situation and like gun reform. Now I have watched this video. I already pre-watched this, and he says a lot of dumb shit here. And also the title is wrong. I'll tell you why the title is wrong once we get there. But I have covered this Uvalde situation. I did a lot of research on this, so I know my shit on this subject. I even have a video on it on my YouTube channel. If you want to go watch it, please do. But I do want to talk about this and debunk this because he says some really dumb and bad shit. Ben Shapiro, Ben Shabibo doing his shit.
I think this is why so many people on the right are having a very difficult time understanding what exactly the left is doing in gun control debates. Because you look at what they're doing and you're like, this is totally disconnected from the reality. To take an example, there's new information on this Uvalde shooter. And so this Uvalde shooter there's video that has now been found showing the shooter grinning while he holds up a bag of blood-soaked dead cats. According to FoxNews.com, the deranged 18-year-old gunman is seen smiling in the undated footage while sitting in the passenger seat of a pal's car, holding up a clear plastic bag with at least 2 bloodied cats visible inside it. So the sicko
is saying how, the Uvalde shooter has these videos up and people knew about him that he was this deranged guy. Yet the moment he turned 18, he went and he purchased guns legally in this country. No background check, no psychological test. He just went up in there, bought guns without a problem, and look what happened. He shot up a school and 21 people are dead now because it's way too easy to get guns in this country.
Was previously rumored to have had a fascination with dead cats. He had threatened to kidnap, kill, and rape girls who shunned him online. A person who is related to the shooter's grandmother by marriage said, quote, "The shooter was known for hurting cats. He liked hurting animals. I'm told he killed the cats and carried around the bag of bodies for bleeps and giggles." Well, okay, so I have a question. If you wanted to shut down school shootings, might it be easier to identify the people who have red flags? I don't know, putting online threats to kill and rape women and also carrying around bags of dead cats? Which seems more targeted to the solution at hand? Trying to figure out who is posting videos of holding bags of bloody dead cats or disarming 100 million Americans of 400 million guns.
That's not happening. People are not getting disarmed by any of the Democrat laws. From what I've read, the Democratic laws of Democrats push are that they want to add red flag laws, which is the government seeing a person the Uvalde shooter and seeing the shit that he has done, posted online, and the government being like, okay, this guy is mentally unstable. We need to go in there and take the guns away from him because, he can do something dangerous. That's one of them. Another one would be background checks, which I really like. Another one would be a waiting period between being able to buy a gun and also buying ammo for that gun. And I forget what the other one was. Oh, and also, I remember now. Limiting the age from 18 to 21, raising the minimum age to purchase a gun, which all of those I agree with. I think though all of them will help reduce gun deaths and gun violence and mass shootings in this country. And as you can see, America is the only first world country in the world that has these mass shooting issues. No other country has them. All right. And you can clearly see why. It's because of our gun culture, and also because it's way too easy to get a gun in this country, for anybody.
Which seems more doable to you?
I think the first one, because the second one is not happening.
Which seems more calibrated toward actually solving the problem that you purport to solve? And this becomes particularly true when you look at how the Uvalde Police Department responded. The procedures of the Uvalde Police Department were a complete disaster area. I mean, the director of Texas Public Safety literally said over the weekend, his name is Stephen McCraw, that they made the wrong decision not to go into the school right away. So maybe that would be the solution, is to go into the school right away.
Hey, from the benefit of hindsight.
Damn, Ben Shapiro actually condemning the police, calling them idiots for not going in and protecting children. Little based.
Where I'm sitting now, of course it was not the right decision. It was the wrong decision, period. There's no excuse for that. But again, I wasn't there, but I'm just telling you, from what we know, we believe there should have been an entry at that as soon as you can.
Okay, so let's talk for a second about the fact that there are some solutions that are available here and the fact that no one wants to talk about them. So the minute that anybody talks about heightening school security, making sure there are actual armed guards on the ground, making sure...
Well, Ben Shapiro, Bren, listen to me, Ben. Listen to me, Ben. Okay? I think... Wait. Okay. Man, I can't really remember this. If there were actually security guards on the campus during Uvalde, I think there was, but they didn't do anything when the shooter came in. I think that's what happened. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But I think that's what happened. Okay, and also, I would rather have the Uvalde kid, or mass shooter, okay? Mass school shooter, not be able to even get their hands on a gun before we just up security on schools. I never ever want to get to that point where we just have to up security in schools and put in like metal detectors in schools and also arm the teachers. Like, it's not the teacher's job to shoot another person. The teacher's job is to educate.
Sure, that the police actually respond with alacrity rather than standing outside some sort of cordon a mile away.
I do like this, that Ben Shapiro is condemning the police, because the police fucked up so hard in the situation that even right-leaning people, the Blue Lives Matter, the thin blue line people have to condemn the police just because of how much they fucked up the situation here.
And preventing parents from getting to their kids. Maybe you lock the back doors of school. Instead of talking about actual things that you could do, actually enforcing red flag laws. We had a red flag law in Buffalo. It didn't stop the shooter because no one enforced the red flag law. Instead of actually having thriving society.
Wait, Ben Shapiro, do you know what red flag laws are? I do. It's when the government takes your guns away because they see that you're not fit to have a gun and you're a danger to everybody else. Yet you're making this whole like scared shit, making your audience scared that the left is going to take your guns away. Dog, you're advocating for red flag laws. Red flag laws takes people's guns away. You can't be out here saying the left is going to take your guns away when you're advocating for a law that takes people's guns away. Okay?
Institutions that are capable of spotting dangerous kids and then reporting them to the authorities and changing our involuntary commitment laws. When you have dangerous sociopaths like this particular shooter, you can put them away rather than leaving them on the street in order to murder small school children. Rather than doing any of that, we're talking about mass disarmament of the public. And make no mistake, that is what the left really wants here.
Again, you're for red flag laws, which takes people's guns away.
Okay, when the left
which I do like red flag laws.
Discusses common sense gun reform, they don't mean any of that. We all understand that's an incremental approach to what they really want to do, because if they actually want to stop the shootings, there's really only one solution from their perspective, and that is get rid of the guns for everybody. Over the weekend, according to the Washington Post, there were 12 mass shootings. And now it's none of those got they never get remotely the kind of attention that the mass shooting in Buffalo got because that was racially motivated, or the mass shooting in Uvalde got.
Wait, you can't just say like the Buffalo shooting got like more publicity because it was racially motivated, and then just say the Uvalde, the school shooting because, and then just leave it at that. Why, Ben? Why did one get more than not the others? Why aren't these 13 mass shootings not say promoted just the way that the other ones were?
But they are significantly more common. The kind of mass shootings you saw over the weekend killed many, many more people on a statistical level than the kinds of mass shootings that make all the press. And the reason for that, largely, is because...
Tell me, what's the reason?
If you are going to drive a gun control agenda, it's very difficult to drive a widespread gun control agenda when it appears that you're targeting minorities in the vast...
What are you talking about, Ben? I'm sorry, is the Uvalde shooter, he was Mexican, all right? He's a brown person. I'm sorry, wait, what? Hold up. All these gun reforms are being brought up was because the guy was Mexican and he brought in. You can't claim that they're not talking about the other shit because, they don't want to crack down like minorities when the guy that caused all these gun reforms and gun talk issues is a minority himself. Or are you saying he's white, Ben? Is he not Mexican anymore? The moment you shoot up a school, you're white. Is shooting up a school a white thing now, Ben?
The disproportionate number of shootings in the United States are committed by minorities against other minorities.
Why, Ben? Why? Don't you think there's a difference between a racially motivated shooting, a psychotic, bullied person who shot up a school, and people who are living in poverty who don't have the enough opportunities, like most of the people in the United States shooting up each other because they see that's the only way they can move up in life? Don't you think those three are vastly different from each other?
So that makes it kind of awkward when you start talking about vast gun control policies. That's why the left doesn't want to talk about it that way, because it cuts directly against their larger, broader argument, which is that the true threat in America is quote unquote white Christian nationalism. In the Washington Post,
again, you can't say this while everybody was talking about the Uvalde situation, which was a Mexican killing other mostly Mexicans. I think there was like 2 or 3 like white little white girls that died sadly as well.
Reports that there were at least 15 mass shootings that have taken place across the United States since Tuesday, from California to Arizona to Tennessee. This Memorial Day weekend alone, spanning Saturday, Sunday, and the federal holiday on Monday, there have been 12 mass shootings. Those mass shootings just mean essentially 4 or more people shot or killed, not including the shooter. Several of those shootings occurred at parties, one at a Memorial Day event. At least 11 people have been killed and 67 injured in mass shootings since the Uvalde shooting last Tuesday.
Why, Ben? Okay. The reason why the media isn't covering that is because, and why it's a different conversation, is because the way to fix all three of these different shootings are different when it comes to the racially motivated and like the guy who shot up the school. Getting gun control and gun reform is like the best way to stop that from happening. When you're talking about inner city shootings, when poor people are resolved, the way to stop that is to, get those people out of poverty, help them out, fund more of their education, give them more welfare because that's what they need, and like other shit like that. Stop harassing them with the police, stop the drug crimes, which incarcerate a lot of brown and black fathers in jail. So it ends up having broken families because, the black and brown father was found with, a little marijuana in their system, or they had it on them. So it's just these three things are like very different to fix them.
There were 6 teenagers, for example, who were injured by gunfire in Chattanooga, Tennessee. That was probably a gang fight. It was a bunch of young teenagers, like 13 to 15 years old, who were shooting at each other.
But yeah, Ben, don't you think that's different from, a guy walking up to unarmed civilians and children, shooting them down? I think there's a difference between a gang fight and, innocent kids being shot down.
There were shootings in Oklahoma. There's a Memorial Day festival in Taft, Oklahoma, where there was a shooting. There was a party in Merced, California, in which there was a shooting. There was a shooting at a liquor store in Benton Harbor, Michigan, right? These sorts of things are extremely common across the United States. They don't make the press the same way that the mass shootings do because they don't fulfill narratives in exactly the same way. But all these shootings are kind of different in kind from one another, and they don't call for mass gun confiscation. And if you are calling for mass gun confiscation, you have to wonder, what exactly is the
No shit, Ben, they're all different. And why do you think people are not saying the massive gun confiscation? Or
real rationale? And the real rationale is you don't trust your neighbor. You think your neighbor's scary and bad. That's the real rationale. So Joe Biden, on this basis, decided that he was...
And now here it comes with the Joe Biden shit. Now, what Joe Biden says, I have looked it up, and what he says, and what Joe Biden says from here on to the rest of the fucking video, he is wrong, and Ben Shapiro is right about the guns. I'm not that well versed in guns. I would like to have a gun for protection, and I would like to have it, and also like go to the shooting range to learn how to use it, mostly for protection, if not just for protection, and that's it. So I'm not against guns. I'm not against the Second Amendment. I don't want to get rid of people's guns. However, it clearly shows that this country, there's people out there with guns that just don't deserve them. And also when it comes to like the Joe Biden shit here, yeah, he is wrong mostly about this, but he's wrong about guns. He's Joe Biden, from what I remember, he didn't say anything wrong about the Second Amendment, which being everybody has the right to bear arms. He just says some wrong shit about guns.
Is going to go off on this. So Joe Biden, of course, decamped to Uvalde. He didn't decamp to any of these other shootings, by the way. Right? He decamps to very specific shootings where he thinks he can make political hay. So he decamps to the site of the Buffalo.
Bro, that's everybody. That's every politician. Okay.
Buffalo shooting. So you can talk about the grave threat to America of white Christian nationalist, white supremacy, et cetera, et cetera.
Wait. what? Let's go back. Let's try to remember him. Ben Shapiro is he's so set on these narratives and these talking points that when a brown person commits a mass shooting, he still says like, "Oh, it's the left is going to use this against white supremacy and shit like that." Okay.
Joe Biden, of course, decamped to Uvalde. He didn't decamp to any of these other shootings, by the way.
Yeah, he decamped to Uvalde,
right?
Which was, again, Mexicans, brown people, not white people.
He decamps to very specific shootings where he thinks he can make political hay. So he decamps to the site of the Buffalo shooting so he can talk about the grave threat to America of white Christian nationalist white supremacists.
But he did both. You can't say he's wrong by just doing one. He went to both.
Et cetera, et cetera. And then you have Joe Biden decamping to Uvalde because this is the most heartbreaking mass shooting that we've seen in the United States since at least Parkland. And so this is a perfect opportunity for him to discuss his gun control routine. The problem for Joe Biden is that he doesn't know bleep about these issues. But maybe that's not the problem. Maybe that's just part of the upside of the guy, I guess. He started off by visiting Uvalde and people were yelling at him to do something. And of course, he then climbed up on a vehicle, which was very difficult for him. Dangerous stuff here. So the private Secret Service let him do it and started shouting that he would do something. People are yelling at him. Jill is over there. Jill is walking around the car. And Joe kind of slowly, he never looks great, walks to the car.
What are you talking about? He's moving just like an old person. Have you, Ben, have you never, ever seen an old person move? They all move like that, okay? This motherfucker's like 90 years old. Of course he's going to move like that.
And he pulls himself up onto the car and says, we will.
I'm surprised with his age he'd be able to pull himself up from the car.
We will do something. Okay, what exactly will he do? He will spout ignorant nonsense about guns and then not do anything because this is he thinks, a potent electoral issue for him. So Joe Biden admits, first of all, that he can't.
To be fair, I don't know. I don't know much about like the presidential thing. I don't know if he can or cannot do something about this situation here. If he can, of course, if he can, it's still going to be difficult because, Joe Manchin and the other bitch in the Supreme Court and shit. So it's not like a 50-50 split because those two Democrats are pretty right-leaning and they like side more with Republicans than do Democrats. So it's not really a 50-50 split with them. So if he wants to actually like do like heavy gun reform, it's going to be very difficult because of Joe Manchin and the other Democratic woman.
Outlaw weapons, but he'd like to. I mean, that's really the underlying idea here.
I can do the things I've done, and any executive action I can take, I'll continue to take. But I can't outlaw a weapon. I can't, change the background check. I can't do that. And my whole career I've been doing it.
First of all, if his whole career he's been doing this and he's accomplished nothing, at some point you might think that he might be.
And also, he can do the affirmative action. I think that's what presidents do when they like push in a law without like the Supreme Court and shit. He could do that. However, that'll make it'll make him like another like good talking point against them. Like, oh, he wants to take your guns away, and then he's gonna like lose the presidency again, and then. If the Republican is going to win, and the Republican is just going to take that law again because it was in the affirmative action law. So, it wasn't affirmative action. It's not. Affirmative action is the college thing. I forgot what specifically it's called when presidents do that. But the next president could just erase what he did and just move on, and just make the country more right leaning as a reaction to him doing that. So I think that's why he's saying he can't really do much because he wants to do it through the Supreme Court and not just make a law and just pass through on his own.
Be bad at his job. That wasn't the part where he really starts his rant. So his real rant is that he starts off by talking about how the Second Amendment is not absolute, and then he starts just dropping bizarrely non-factual cliches about guns. Like he has about 3 or 4 things that he likes to say about guns, where he's got the deer and Kevlar vest routine, which is just stupid. And then he's got this is the one he's going to drop right now. He's got during the Revolutionary War, he couldn't own a cannon, which is actually not true. So he's going to drop that one here.
The Constitution, the Second Amendment, was never absolute.
This is the only thing Joe Biden is wrong about the Second Amendment. Everything else from the rest of this fucking video, Joe Biden's just wrong about guns. It's not the Second Amendment.
You couldn't buy a cannon when the...
That is true. I looked it up. you can buy a cannon. Like, all historians say that there was never a law that prohibited citizens that you couldn't buy a cannon in the Revolutionary War. So Joe Biden is wrong.
You couldn't go out and purchase a lot of weaponry. And those who, not many are saying it anymore, but there was a while there where people were saying that, you know, the tree of liberty is water with the blood of patriots, and what we have to do is you have to be able to take on the government.
But, like, I like to say, like, can you blame him for not knowing that? I will say, like, yeah, you can, but it feels like that situation where a lot of people were making fun of Trump on him saying that he didn't know Kansas City wasn't in Kansas. And a lot of people made fun of him like that. But I was like the Dave Chappelle joke. If you guys heard of it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Donald Trump is stupid for not knowing Kansas City's in Kansas." But I didn't know Kansas City wasn't in Kansas either.
Wrong.
Kind of feels that way because, like, most people would not know that.
You need an F-15, you know. You need a Abrams tank. I mean,
and then he's again. Then he's dropping his cliches again. That basically the Second Amendment is completely useless because the original purpose of the Second Amendment, which was to allow for a well-regulated militia to fight off predations on individual liberty in the states, that is completely specious now because you need an F-16, which is not making the case that people should not own F-16s. That's making the case, ironically, that people should own F-16s. It also happens not to be true. Okay, the fact is that major armies across, I mean, the United States military was just cast out of Afghanistan by a bunch of goat herders with AK-47s. So
no. United States military wasn't cast out by a bunch of goat holders with AK-47s. No, Biden ordered the military to get out of Afghanistan. They didn't get pushed out by the Taliban or whatever it's what terrorist group is down there. I don't really remember the name. Joe Biden ordered them to get out, and that's how they got out.
Well, I'm going to go no on that, but put that aside. All of this, stupidly informed rhetoric, it's typical Biden. That wasn't even the dumbest thing he said. So in the world of dumb cliches, he then dropped just a jaw dropper here.
A .22 caliber bullet will lodge in the lung, and we can probably get it out, may be able to get it and save the life. A 9mm bullet blows the lung out of the body. So the idea of these high caliber weapons,
again, I don't know shit about guns.
Simply no rational
and about bullets. So Ben Shapiro says he's wrong
here. He's now making the argument in favor of an AR-15, none of which,
so I'm just going to skip forward because I don't really have anything.
A 9mm does not blow a lung out of the body. It blows a lung. All weaponry is dangerous, but that's just not true. Not only is it not true, he also happens to be talking right when he says that's a high caliber weapon. No, it's not. A 9mm is.
He's just talking specifics about guns. I don't know anything about this, so let's move on.
If you go, a typical cop has on.
I'm just gonna assume he's right.
Their hip. Dirty Harry didn't use a 9mm. He used a 45, right? He's a Colt Magnum 45. What is he talking here? That is the most common form of ammunition in the United States, particularly for handguns. So he's actually talking about just outlawing all guns.
No, just because he talks about outlawing the most common type of ammo doesn't mean he's gonna outlaw every single fucking ammo so nobody can have ammo anymore. This is a slippery slope argument. It's dumb. No, that's not what it means.
That's really what he's talking about there. He's not talking about rifles anymore. He's not talking about quote-unquote assault weapons. He's not talking about common sense gun regulations. He says there's no rational reason to own 9mm ammo. Yeah, there is, because it fits inside a 9mm weapon. That is the reason to own a what in the world? So he's saying the quiet part out loud.
I never noticed this. Ben Shapiro got big ass eyebrows. God damn, look at them. Look like big, those hairy ass caterpillars. That's what it looked like.
Part of it is that he's just ignorant and he's a moron.
Hopefully that's not a racist thing against Jewish people.
I mean, Joe Biden, when it comes to guns, he's ignorant about so many things. When it comes to guns, he's just legitimately ignorant. And the people who make your policy and write about your policy in the media, they've never fired a weapon. They don't know what a weapon is. When they describe weapons, it's as though they are describing some sort of alien technology that has descended from Mars. It's amazing to watch them describe weaponry that when they say things like an AR-15 style weapon. Or
again, both Democrats and Republicans right now agree on red flag laws, which takes people's guns away. So
when they use the word they use the term semi-automatic to say that.
All right,
here's typical Biden. I mean, listen, Biden. This is the same moron who suggested at one point that you should fire a shotgun through a door if there's an intruder. So yeah, I'm gonna.
That was
listen
really
to
dumb.
him on.
All right,
out.
More dumb
out
shit.
On your balcony.
Is that it? Is that it
like
with this?
I
think that might be it. with this whole video.
He also suggested at one point shooting a shotgun through a door.
Just him bitching about Biden being wrong about guns, not really being wrong about the Second Amendment.
If God forbid something bad is going to happen, I want my neighbors there with the gun because I like my neighbors and I know my neighbors and I think that my neighbors have good values. And I don't know how they vote, but I know them. I see them around. I know that they're law-abiding. They're not.
All right. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of that video. But we still got one more. This banger-ass little clip right here of what Ben Shapiro says. I like to play this just for you to hear this.
Well, I have to say, I do not find him to be sincere. I just don't. Call it a subjective opinion. Call it whatever you want. I do not find this to be a sincere man. Every time he says, for God's sake, it's bad acting.
He's still talking about Biden here.
I'm not saying he doesn't care about kids who get shot. I'm sure he does care about kids who get shot. When he pretends that the solutions that he's offering are actual solutions rather than just get out the vote efforts, I don't believe him. Because it's pretty obvious that these are get out the vote efforts from the president of the United States. And I would note on a logical level, when he suggests that more children are dying by gun than on-duty police officers, maybe one of the reasons for that is because, I spot a couple of differentiators. One of them is that on-duty police officers carry guns. Kids cannot carry guns, nor should they, obviously. But the point is that people
What? Ben, what? You hear what he said? Kids cannot carry guns. Ben Shapiro says kids cannot carry guns. He is not your savior. What, Ben? What? It clearly shows that school shooters clearly show that kids can carry guns. What are you talking about? Okay. I'm going to give him charity here. The most charity I can give him at what his statement says, what he tried to say, I'm just going to say he misspoke here, okay? What he actually tried to say, I think, was that in law, kids can't carry guns. I think that's what he means there. Which is true. Show me. Okay. 17 years old. Louisiana, 17-year-old. I think that is 100% a kid to me. Let's go. 16 years old to carry a weapon in Alaska. That's 100% a child to me. Let's go. Let's look some more. Same time, Texas, Wyoming, Ohio, New Hampshire have no age restrictions when it comes to who can be in possession of a handgun or a long gun. Damn, so like a 2-year-old can get a gun. No. But like honestly, like a 15-year-old could probably hold a gun in Texas and all these other states and not have it be illegal. So what are you talking about, Ben? It doesn't even make any sense when I give him the most charity of what I think he believes in. It doesn't make any sense because all these other fucking states have it very low for children to actually carry weapons and carry guns.
One of them is that on-duty police officers carry guns. Kids cannot carry guns, nor should they, obviously. But the point is that people who are protected tend not to get shot as often. Even in the most dangerous situations, they tend to not.
I heard mixed shit about this. Does owning a gun make you safer? Evidence, because I heard mixed shit on this. I heard some studies actually say that it actually doesn't help you or actually does harm you to own a gun against somebody else. But I'm not too sure about this. I could be 100% wrong. But I heard other shit that says that it does actually protect you. Gun sales in the United States have skyrocketed in response to the coronavirus, according to data. Let me read this shit quick. Twice as many Americans 2 months earlier on listening to the phrase buy guns, 5 spending much more Google Trends, national running guns. It's up to God. Bad firearms. Okay. A firearm might not actually help you stand watch over your family. Not to worry about safety during a natural emergency and want to do everything possible to protect yourselves and our family members. The problem is the protection of risk and excuse exaggerate certain kind of risks and minimize other. Many Americans still think that owning a gun will protect them if, say, someone breaks into deals from them. Yet violent break-ins are actually quite rare and have become steadily less common over the past 20 years, and when one occurs, having a gun is no safety guaranteed. Indeed, although the NRA argue that good guys with guns save lives, which is just not true, as the Uvalde police show good guys with guns just don't do jack shit unless you're gonna say the police are not good guys, which is, you know, a little base to say. Save lives. These kinds of incidents are the exception rather than the rule. This misrepresentation stems from a study published by 1995 criminologists who asked 5,000 Americans if they or other household members have ever used their gun in the past year for self-defense. Based on the response they received, the criminologists estimated that guns are used for self-defense in the United States more than 2.5 million times a year, but other researchers argue that the survey was ambiguous and likely overestimated defense guns use. Ooh. More recent studies have found that guns are only rarely used for self-defense. In 2015, David Hemingway, director of Harvard Injury Control Research Center, and Sarah Solnick, an economist at the University of Vermont, analyzed national government surveys involving more than 14,000 people and reported that the guns are used for self-protection in less than 1% of all crimes that take place in the presence of a victim. They also found that people were more likely to be injured after threatening attackers with a gun that they were if they had called the police or ran away. Damn. So it's actually, it looks like owning a gun actually like makes shit worse for you when it comes to like crimes and shit.
To get shot quite as often because they can protect themselves. So he's making
but he is talking about police, not like regular ass people.
The case that he supposedly opposes. This, by the way, is the case that Democrats are consistently making.
The question isn't owning a gun how if they get the gun. Yeah, it is. I feel like you're here late. I went over a different video of his, and I actually did talk about how they get the gun, how what he said about that was wrong, and I disagree with him on there. It's just now we're on a different video, and I had to bring that up.
Is the idea that even a lawful, law-abiding person who knows how to use his gun isn't capable of stopping a bad guy with a gun, which of course is untrue.
No, it is actually true that I just put up a study and actually says it is true. A good guy with guns don't actually stop bad guy with guns.
Unaware of any situation in which the threat of a good guy with a gun has not ended a situation with a bad guy with a gun.
Wow, man. So such a shame. Maybe he posted this before the Uvalde situation. I don't know.
Do folks on the left just think that bad guys with guns randomly give up their guns when they get bored or tired?
Sometimes they do. The Buffalo shooter did give up his gun, and he was brought in, you know. And most school shootings end up with the person just killing themselves. You know, the police don't actually apprehend the person. If what I remember, that actually has happened. So yeah, Ben Shapiro, you are actually wrong here.
That's not how any of this works.
So yeah, banger ass clip right there. Shows I have no idea why Ben Shapiro is taken seriously. He is very dumb in this. I don't know. Maybe it's his charisma. Maybe it's just because he debates college kids who don't know like pretty much anything or don't have any experiencing in debating. So, you know, maybe that helped him get big, and a lot of people, you know, take him seriously, even though he is an idiot. And hopefully this video showed you like debunking a lot of his dumbass talking points here. But yeah, that's the video. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, comment down below. I very, very much appreciate it. And we need to do something about our guns in this fucking country, because goddamn, I do not want another mass shooting. And yeah.